faces then?
My mic was muted. I was talking to no one. Welcome back, everybody. Today's episode of Heroes of the Storm in our A through Z playthrough is going to be Hogger. And as always, my name is Winback. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe your heart out because it's a YouTube video, and let's talk about the Hogmaster himself. So, Hogger is an AoE bruiser of epic proportions, and the fact that we're on Warhead is going to be a little bit more difficult for him to cope with than normal. But anyway, team comps are going to be Nova, Mephisto, Dahaka, May, Hogger versus, Rainer's dead, Illidan, Muradin, Murky, and Vala. Now, the fact that the map is so large makes it a little bit more difficult for Hogger to make the best use of his capabilities. I feel like I don't think that this map specifically has a lot of really good bouncing angles for Hogger with his E. But at the end of the day, since we're an offlaner, I mean, really, we're just built to soak and kind of do bruisery-esque damage anyway, so it doesn't really mean a whole lot that, you know, we can't bounce all over the place. Oh my god, they just don't want the kill, apparently. Missing a Q. Missing the Stormbolt and taking a tower shot directly in your butthole with Muradin is probably the single most silly thing I have seen in 10 minutes. The last 10 minutes for sure. Anyway, since, well, if you're here for the build, it is the standard build for Hogger, unfortunately. The the Dynamite. Lightning? I'm playing too much Dark Souls. So the standard build for Hogger is going to be Bones to Gnaw at 1, 4 is going to be aggro range, 7 will be Garbage Fire, 10 I'm going to take Shockwave because I feel like it, 13 is going to be Pummel, I believe, 16 will end up being Headbanger, and 20 will be Power Spike for the ult upgrade. The reason I'm taking Shockwave instead of Hortipulse is because Hortipulse is kind of fucking boring. I know that it is the better ult. It does a lot of slowing for sure. It makes Hogger very difficult to kill. It is huge movement and engage for him, but my god, it's worn out. It's worn out its place in my heart because it's literally the only ult that you ever fucking see on this character, and that, in and of itself, has engaged my inner hipster, and I cannot, in good conscience, continue to take that talent. It's the same reason I don't pick Twilight Hammer on Cho'Gall. I know it's good, it's really the best, I'm sure, but fuck me, is it so lame to look at. Anyway, if you're not familiar with Hogger's abilities, your Q is called Staggering Blow. You're going to swing your chain in a very wide arc, and people are going to be knocked back when they get hit by it. If they are knocked back into terrain, they are going to be stunned and take additional damage. Is it additional damage? Yes, an additional 190 damage and stunned for 0.75 seconds. You're also going to get 15 Rage, which is Hogger's resource. And it's not necessarily a resource that Hogger uses to use abilities. It is a resource that lets Hogger do more damage. So, that being said, the more rage that you build up, the more damage that your E is going to do, and your basic abilities are going to cool down faster. So I believe the maximum that you can get is 50% reduced cooldowns, or 50% increased, 50% increased cooldowns, which means that they recharge 1.5 times faster? I think that's how that works. Math is fucking difficult. Don't ask me to keep doing it, please. The big one, though, is that your E, your Hog Wild, is going to deal 1% more damage for each point of rage. So when you have 100 rage, that means it's going to be dealing double damage, and it is the main form of damage for Hogger. So you want to find good places to bounce so you can do more damage with the ability in larger areas. Oh my god, they're coming at me, but we're just going to zip out because we're unstoppable when we hog wild, and that's just how that works. Spinning to win the game. Now, your W is your easy throw dynamite. This is just going to be a boot full of dynamite that you throw on the ground. If you don't manage to hit anybody with the center of the ability, it just lands on the ground and sits there. If someone manages to step back into it, they're going to be slowed and take damage. The slow is 30%, so it's not, you know, negligible amounts of slowing, but the damage isn't the highest either. So it's just a very good tool for denying area, but if you manage to hit someone point blank with it, it explodes immediately, deals all the damage, and slows them as well. I need that meat real quick. Got it. Perfect. Can we peel for May? I hope that we can. Illidan is all sorts of evading, just didn't hit him into the wall, and now we're going to die for it because he didn't get stunned. Fuck. That's true. You're such a motivational speaker, Hogger. Way to go. So the instant detonations on your easy throw dynamite, if you manage to hit that center location with the toss, that means that you are going to get 10 rage. Couple that with the rage that you can get from your Q with the stuns, and you can start to see how quick that resource can stack up, so you can do lots of damage with your E. Also, your auto attacks are going to do get you some rage as well. Let's see. Taking damage or dealing basic attack damage. It doesn't say how much rage that your auto attacks give you. And since we're spinning, instead of auto-attacking the camp, I can't actually see the change, which is unfortunate. Looks like Dahaka's in some trouble. Let's see if we can go help him out. Can we stun anybody into the wall? Nailed the Muradin. Don't turn around, my friend. I'm just here to peel for you. We're double bruiser. It's nothing that we can do against a tank and 2 DPS. Ooh! Not enough to get her in range for a stun on our Q. Got the Rainer, though, and the Mephisto ult going to slow him down as well. The Shockwave is absolutely necessary to seal that kill because May pushed the Rainer behind the wall, sadly. That's okay. We're working with what we've got, and right now we've got a Merc camp and 4 people on a fort that is just completely out in the open. Now, your final ability on Hogger, your activatable ability, is actually your trait. So Loot Horde is going to throw down a piece of impassable terrain with your D button. So you toss the button down, and it is going to basically become a wall. That means that you can stun people by knocking them into it with your Q. You can bounce off of it with your E, and it just body blocks. So if there's a small choke that someone needs to get out of, you just throw your Loot Horde in front of them, and suddenly they can't move. They're just stuck, and good stuff happens. Not only that, but the Loot Horde will also drop some meat for Hogger to chew on, and he is going to get 3% of his max health back every 4 seconds when picking up the meat. So that's 12% of your max health with your trait, and the talents that we've got for it are going to basically double that amount because it's going to give us 2 instances of meat. There's no way that you stop me from spinning here, buddy. I don't even know why you tried. You should have just walked away. That is one of the most broken things about Hogger. Most camps he can just absolutely shit on because you find a good angle to infinitely bounce with your E and everything dies. It's crazy how good Hogger is at controlling camps, and that shockwave making it so the enemy team can't kill me is just a little chef's kiss, cherry on top, pièce de résistance. Fantastic. Now your I guess we could talk about your talents because they are important with this build. Considering it's not my favorite, dynamite build, I guess some explanation is warranted. So anyway, your level 1 talent is going to be the Bones to Gnaw. Loot Horde is going to create a chunk of meat when it lands, and it's going to leave one when it expires. So that's what I was saying. It's going to double the healing with this talent. Not only that, but while you're under the effects of that health regen, you are going to get armor, 10 armor to be specific. So it's really good. Mephisto killing the Vala from miles away. Fantastic. Love it when they look at the map. Good teammates are so hard to come by. But all that being said, it is very good at helping Hogger sustain. This is really just the way to play the character in the off lane. So good for keeping him in and around all the offlaner duties too. So you never have to go back with this build. It's fantastic for that reason. Now, your level 4 talent is an absolute ridiculous requirement of basically every build that you go. I don't know why they built it this way. It's just, it sucks. Because normally your E does not generate rage, but now when you take aggro range, it does. So it's going to generate 0.5 rage every time it hits, and heroes are going to give a lot more rage. So basically the ability is going to cause itself to deal more damage in team fights, just going to cause itself to never deteriorate in the resource ever, and you're just going to absolutely slap up in the team fights, especially if they're in these tiny little corridors. And it increases the range, or the radius of the ability by 25% as well, so you can hit more stuff with your most damaging ability. Like, it's blowing my mind that this talent exists, and that you're somehow supposed to pick the other two to compete with it. Like, excuse me? Now, Garbage Fire is your level 7. It's going to reduce the cooldown of your loot horde by 2 seconds, and then every 0.5 seconds, enemies are going to take 43 damage and be slowed by 20%. Murky thought he could kill me. I mean, there's the entire minion wave, the Merc camp. All that you really would have gotten out of that anyway is just some damage with the Octograb. Maybe he thought, oh no, there's a Vala. Look at that. Maybe he was trying to protect the Vala. We're just going to spin in. I don't know that she realizes how much damage that we do. That was an instant detonation on our W. That was all the damage from our Q on the fadeaway, and then the shockwave just absolutely slapping up. One of the things that I'm thinking when I'm playing this character specifically on this map is looking for those stragglers. So if there is like a Vala or a Raynor or even an Illidan out and about somewhere on the map without their team, we can basically just run up on them, slap them with our ult, and make sure that they die. In the specific case of Vala there, I mean, her health is just so little that we can stand in between her towers and she's just not going to have a good time. I mean, that's how it goes. Hogger is very good at killing squishies with or without shockwave. Whew. So your 13 talent, the reason that I'm not taking Dust Devil is because Pummel is... How do I describe it? I feel like Pummel is just going to end up doing more. A lot of damage from Murky and Vala is going to be ability damage. Oh no, here's where we die. Yeah, the shockwave does go off. Raynor did get hit by it. Looks like Dahaka is going to try to chase him down, but I don't see it happening, unfortunately. Murden gets taken out as the trade, but I guess that's all that we're going to get from it, which is fine. That's fine. I will take out their tank. Oh, and the Nova takes out the Raynor as well. Marshall down. The Ghost is taken all the way to the bank. But, so Pummel is going to slow people by 10%, stacking up to 5 times. So that means we get potentially a 50% slow when we're hitting people with our E. And then heroes hit by the E are also going to have their spell power reduced by 50%. So Murky's going to be doing less damage. Illidan's going to be... Everybody's going to be doing less damage with the exception of Raynor. And then like half of Vala's kit, obviously. Since the other half of her kit is all auto attacks. Her and Raynor aren't going to be affected too much, but... Murky's going to do fuck all for damage. Murden's going to do fuck all for damage. Illidan, to some extent, too. Even though he's mostly auto attacks as well. If he's slowed, he's not going to have an easy time getting those auto attacks. So, I don't know. Armor is good, but at the same time, I like Pummel better. I like it better. Because the armor has been nerfed on Dust Devil enough that I think Oh, the shockwave underneath. And is that going to kill the Illidan? It's not. Looks like Murky's going to get out as well, but I'm going to survive, so fuck you, enemy team. That's what you get for walking in my buildings. And my Nova's just going to snipe him in the ass on the way out as well. Sometimes you just got to rip your ult to keep your life, because losing a death timer at this stage of the game is basically like throwing it away. This is another, like, I didn't infinitely bounce. I didn't line up the indicator on my E well enough there, excuse me, to get the infinite bounce, but it's not like it matters. It was still a really fast take on the Merc camp. The other thing to remember is that if you put your loot horde down and you're bouncing to that and it's closer to you than the other wall of the Merc camp or the alcove or whatever you're doing, it's going to let Hogger hit the Merc camp faster. So the reason that this is going to be slower than the previous camp is because the minions are so spread out that my E isn't doing maximum damage there, and because I'm traveling so much farther away from the camp, they're like walking towards me and we're still missing them. So, I mean, you can see you want to use the loot horde closer and you want to bounce closer to get the camp faster. It's not like it's going to be, you know, infinitely faster or anything, but it does still happen that way sometimes. Got the shockwave on the Muradin alone. He is just going to jump out, and the wall is in the way, so I can't get past it to get over to the Rainer, unfortunately. Should have saved my Hog Wild to go through the ice wall and chase after them, but I used it to reposition, unfortunately, at the beginning of that fight, and it didn't really go the way that I wanted it to. Unfortunate. But Headbanger is our 16 talent. Enemies stunned by staggering blow take an additional 8% of their max health and are stunned for an additional 0.5 seconds. That changes the stun time on your Q to 1.25 seconds, and against a character like a Muradin, taking 8% of your max health is going to be very painful. Mephisto does make it out. Nova is going to triple tap the Illidan, making it easy for me to kill him. And there is the fast reload. Murky coming around the backside to try to interrupt her. He does get the interrupt, but absolutely zero damage. And Mephisto is going to blast everybody out of existence with his consumed souls. It's really fantastic stuff there. And that level 20 upgrade, I believe he's got to have it, right? He did do it twice. He did. Fucking nuts. Team, if we could just kill the building, please. I know Murky is very fun to hit, but minions should probably be less of a priority at this point. Just gonna put that out there. Okay. Murky's alive again, and the entire team is like, gotta kill him first. Woo! And then the 20 upgrade for Shockwave is really cool because it is going to reduce the cooldown of the ability number 1, and it is going to also reduce the target that you hit. It's going to reduce their armor. So Shockwave is going to benefit from the increased cooldown reduction speed from the rage once you hit level 20 with the talent, and it is going to take 15 armor off of whoever you hit, which should typically be multiple people because the AoE on the thing is so fucking massive, it's crazy if you miss. So, there you have it. Rage's cooldown reduction affects Shockwave's cooldown. So good, and it generates rage. Look at that, I didn't realize that. 20 rage for hitting people with your ultimate. Cookies are good, I agree, Rainer. Nice, cookies are very good. So, the build, again, in case you need it, it's going to be Bones to Gnaw, Aggro Range, Garbage Fire, Shockwave, Pummel, Headbanger, and Power Spike. All of that being said, that is it for this week in our A through Z playthrough. Hogger still busted levels of good. Make sure to pick him whenever you can. He and Sonya are top bruisers at this moment in the meta, so remember that if you've made it this far. I appreciate you. I will see you guys next week. Thanks for hanging out. Goodbye.